Hello everyone, welcome back to the Detour podcast where we talk all things related to the topic of unconventional success and upcomings. I'm your host, Gary Fan, a community college alumni with aspirations of becoming a world-changing business owner. This episode marks episode 4 within the first season of the podcast, and today I'm joined with an entrepreneur, an aspiring actor, and a spiritual blessing, Jonathan Lee. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being on the podcast. I really appreciate you coming here. Do you mind starting us off with a little bit about who you are as a person, what you used to major in, and what your future career paths are?
Who I am as a person, my future career paths, and what was the other question?
It was what you used to major in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, thank you for having me, Gary. This is my first podcast. Oh, man, give me some. Okay. I'll start with what I used to major in. Okay.
Yeah.
I am a ex-community college goer, and I used to major in communication, and then I started just to go for liberal arts. I just studied what I wanted to study, right?
Yeah.
And then now I have other plans. I dropped out. I'm trying to be an actor. That's my aspiration. And then now who I am as a person, I am just trying to live. I'm just trying to enjoy. Right now, I feel like this is an exploratory kind of phase in my life where I'm just figuring out myself more as a person and who I want to be. So my future, I feel like I know what I'm working towards, but there's still so much that I feel like could happen, and there's so much newness and freshness that I feel like will await me there. So I'm at the stage in my life where I'm just trying to align with who I want to be, my values, and what I believe for, what I stand for. I'm feeling good, enjoying life.
That is great. That's
the future will come.
That's awesome to hear, man. Like I think you had a really unconventional path, with dropping out of community college. I don't think a lot of people, I don't personally know a lot of people who have taken that route. Was it hard for you, dropping out? What was your mindset, your decision going into that? Because I know, that's a big step, taking to, I guess, drop out and really being in that exploratory state, right? So how's that like for you going through that?
I feel like when it comes to dropping out, there's a lot of factors that involve that makes it, in the moment, it made it perceptually difficult. I feel like some of those could be, of course, the social external factors and peer pressure, and then what your parents going to say, what everybody's going to be thinking, and it's just out of the norm. It's not what everybody else is doing. So for me specifically, during that time when I wanted to drop out, I didn't really have a vision for the future where I was going. So I feel like that internally and as its own made it significantly harder.
Yeah.
Because when you don't know where you're going, it's just you're dropping out, but what are you doing? But I feel like that time where I was debating and reflecting that I want to drop out because I feel like there's something else that I wanted to do. Because I feel like there's an emphasis on feeling good and just following something that lights you up. I learned recently a distinction from this author named Mickey Agrawal. She made this distinction between a career path and a lit path.
A career path and a lit path.
Lit, right?
Yeah.
So a career path is just you're going to a career, you're trying to get a job, you're just doing what everybody else is doing, that pattern, get that 9 to 5, and then you get a family, a house, and kids, what everybody else is doing, right?
The norm, basically, right? Yeah.
And then the lit path is a path that is simple. It lights you up. It lights you up.
Yeah.
Right? It gives you energy. You feel passionate about it. You feel good. You feel alive doing it. And that's ultimately, I feel like that's what everybody wants, but more specifically, that's what I was really aiming towards, and that was my aspiration at the time. I just wanted to wake up and I feel like I get to go there. I get to do that. I want to do that. I feel so good. I wake up, I go there, I feel energy. I feel energized. And that's what we're all like kind of wanting, energy, because that's like our life force, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we don't have energy, we're kind of like basically dead.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. And I knew that during that time when I was dropping out, I did a lot of reflection and what did I like in the past? What are my talents? What are my hobbies? What do I think will fit me? What will light me up? What is my lit path? And of course, everything, I don't know what, the world has in store for me. Of course, things are susceptible to change, but right now I'm, going down the path to be an actor because I feel like that, it lights me up. It gives me energy, and I feel like I like what that business is about, being in cool, inspiring, motivational, great films and movies. So, of course, it was definitely hard. But I feel like once you have that clarity, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, I totally get that. So would you say it's like figuring out what makes you happy and then going with that and running with that and figuring out a plan for how you're going to pursue that happiness per se?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, everything we say, I feel like it is contextualized and it varies.
Yeah.
But whatever makes you feel energized, but leaning towards the side of growth, not just because, oh, shoot, my friend's doing that, let's go hang, let's go chill, it gives me energy, like anything that makes you grow, it leads you to the person that you want to be. And I feel like as long as we're doing that, we're doing things that light us up, give us more life, more energy, and we're just like, forget the how, we just keep on doing that.
Yeah.
It's going to just plot dots. And then this is cool. I like by Steve Jobs. I think I told you, right?
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think so.
You can't connect the dots looking forward, but you can always look the dots.
I remember.
Yeah, you can't connect the dots looking forward, but you can always connect the dots looking backwards.
I remember that quote, actually. Yeah, right? I've heard it before.
When you're doing what you like, you're planting the dots. And looking back in the future, in hindsight, when we're old or something, we look back and be like, oh, that makes sense. Didn't make sense that time. It led me nowhere, but it contributed to where I am right now. And that kind of gives me a little bit more like sanity and like a chill vibe about, I don't need to know everything. But as long as I just follow my intuition and what lights me up, things will come about.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. And that quote that you mentioned by Steve Jobs, just for context for the viewers and listeners out there, Jonathan and I had like a brief discussion before this. It was like our own like mini podcast, but just genuine conversation. But there's this book that we're talking about. It was Roadmap that I was saying. The quote's actually in that book too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so I was like, oh my gosh, it's really like connecting the dots here. But if you guys want to check it out, it's Roadmap. I forgot who the author is, but it's an amazing book. But anyway, back to what you were saying about feeling lit up by like this by happiness, I guess, right? In terms of your energy and happiness. In terms of wanting to become like an actor within like the industry, I remember you told me that it's very different. You had a very different vision of who you wanted to be on screen. What was that vision in terms of what you wanted to portray for the audience out there? What lessons that you'd want to give to viewers out there? And is there any like specific Facebook like person channel that like you look up to or like you aspire like and get ideas from?
Well, I feel like media is so powerful, and then what we put out there and people consume, it has a powerful effect on their minds and their unconscious and how it affects their lives more than people realize. And when I thought about this and how I wanted to go about with it, I knew that I wanted to do something rather just pure entertainment. I wanted something that was more like purposeful and valuable, where people can watch it and they learn something from it, they can grow from it. And I want to be a conveyor of emotions and a persona that just captures that emotion and that storytelling well, where people can gain a new perspective or something that can help them in that moment so they can grow. A channel that I like, somebody that's doing exactly that is Darman.
Yeah.
Yeah. You checked it out? You checked the video?
Yeah, it was an awesome video.
Yeah, you guys should check that out. Like, they put out just inspirational and motivational, impactful videos, not just pure entertainment that is centered around videos that help you grow. And I feel like I was touching on the media is so powerful and important because like we feed our body, right?
Yeah.
But there's not as much of an emphasis on feeding our mind because I feel like you can consume a burger or something like bacon or whatever, like something greasy, something not good for you, and then that's gonna have an adverse effect on you. You'll feel lethargic, right? And then let's say in turns you feed your mind, like you feed your mind with something not so great. You watch something like, not trying to judge nobody, like, you know, but like you watch something not so good for you, like something like scary and it triggers you, or just something that's not good, and then that's gonna have effect on you. Your thoughts might be thinking that, and it might sway your actions, and you might get a result from that. Yeah. And I feel like the input that you put in your head is, you know, equally, if not more important than what you put in your body. I mean, though they do work together, and that is something that everybody should take into consideration because so powerful.
I definitely agree with that because I think we touched on it briefly when we were hanging out maybe a few weeks ago, but everyone has this idea of, everyone knows that, you know, you work out, right? You get gains and like you're working out your muscles, right? Yeah. But no one really focuses on the aspect of working out your mind or like whatever, like it's like inputting these amazing things, these high energy things, or just good fruits, good vegetables, nutrients for your body, like good things for your body. And it's like no one really emphasizes that because everyone is always caught up in, I guess, physique and everything. But I think mentally, feeding your mind with positive affirmations and stuff like that, I think that goes a long way too. And I don't think a lot of people focus on working out your mind and I guess what you're inputting for your body. And I think you touched on that briefly.
That too, and just what are you watching? Yeah. What are you listening to? Like your inputs. It's not just the shows you watch. It's the music that you listen to. Is it talking about gang, violence, sex, drugs? Because that has an influence on your mind as well. Yeah. What are the conversations that you're engaging in? Are you gossiping? Are you complaining? Are you criticizing others? Are you spreading negativity? Because that's going to affect your mindset as well. Yeah. And, you know, affect what you want to do and what you will pursue. Who are you hanging out with? That's going to feed your mind too. What are you watching? And
I think that's a great point because I remember you told me about your switch of music taste, right? Oh, yeah. Like, I think that's like crazy to me because it's like, I mean, everyone goes through like their ups and downs with music, but they don't really mold their music to how they want to feel. Right, and I think that's a really 100%. Yeah, that's an amazing thing you just brought up. So do you mind?
You all feel good, but like I mean, okay, like a point is, I mean, I feel like there's so much value in music. I'm not trying to hate on like sad music or nothing. I feel like all emotions are valid. You for sure should feel your emotions because if you like resist it, it's just gonna keep on going. It's gonna persist. So like for sure, you know, you wanna listen to sad music sometimes for sure. Pop on a little bit Sam Smith or something. I love that guy. He got a great voice. But like listen to him. Feel your emotions and just like don't linger on it because like you want your life to feel good to you. Like I feel like happiness and feeling good, like a high state, is like what you want to aim at, how you want to live day to day. So I feel like listen to the music. Sure, you don't have to like cut it out completely. I went a little crazy, but like listen to it. But if you want to feel good, that should be your intention, your goal. You want to align yourself with actions, music, people, food, states, books, whatever, shows, TV shows that aligns with that makes you feel good.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like, I know it's like a very generic and cheesy statement. It's like fake it till you make it, but I really believe in that, you know? It's like whenever you're in a dark time or like just a down like slope or in a rut, you know, I kind of force myself to listen to happy music, I guess, like some Ed Sheeran, toss up some Ed Sheeran out there, you know. I love his beats, Barcelona. It's like so up, like beat and vibey, you know, and just it's like a vibration, on the idea of vibration and the energy that's matched. Just having a very high vibrating energy from music, it uplifts my downfall and my pit, and from there, I'm slowly elevating myself up to like the level of how happy Ed Sheeran is and like his sound, and we talk a lot about vibration too, when we have like our normal conversation. So what's your take on, energy, frequency, vibration, and how things work in the world?
That was just the point I was about to say. Before we get to that,
yeah,
I really wanted to touch on the point when you were saying like fake it till you make it. Not to like detour your your
no, that's
like,
the whole entire thing,
no,
detours.
but like that's such an important part that you made. That it was saying fake it till you make it, because I feel like there are times when you're going to feel the emotion that you're feeling, whether it be like sadness or like whatever, and it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
But there are things that you can do, like listen to music. But I learned from Tony Robbins. I was just talking to you about this. Like, you can change your state just by or faking it or just doing on it. So the way you change your state is I showed you one of it earlier.
Yeah,
Crazy
that was awesome. Crazy
one
eights,
of it
guys.
is by changing your physiology. So if you move your body, if your body language is like this, your head is down, your neck is like this, you're clenched up like this. You see somebody like that walking, across from you, how do you feel like their energy, their vibration is?
It's sad,
It's sad. Like you can tell, like they're not feeling
down.
so good about themselves. But you see somebody, their body is open they're
and
smiling
happy.
like this.
Yeah.
Their energy is, of course, higher, right?
Yeah.
So even if you feel sad, if you just smile, or like power poses or whatever, just smile, force yourself to smile. That has an effect on you, and you're literally gonna feel better.
Yeah.
Like literally just try. If you feel sad, literally just force yourself to smile, and instantly you will feel better.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Like physiology, go for a run, do some jumping jacks, like move your body.
Yeah.
Right? That's fake it to make it. Like, that's gonna change your state. You're gonna feel better, and then you can think clearer. You can act differently. You can change your habit. You can get out of a bad routine or rut when you're thinking better. Change your physiology. Another way is by the language that you use. Language is so powerful because language is meaning, right?
Yeah.
So if you're saying, "Oh, I'm shy. I'm not worthy. I'm not." I mean, those of course those are ingrained belief systems, right? But that of course we can work our way out of. But you're saying, I don't feel like it. I can't do it. Stuff, yeah. Or I'm feeling tired right now. I'm nervous. That's gonna affect your mind because saying that gives you the meaning of your experience.
Yeah.
And if you say, I'm nervous versus, yo, I'm excited.
I got this, That's those words.
Those emotions are literally the same thing. Yeah. Nervousness and excitement, you feel the same thing. You feel heart palpitations. You feel like your palms are clammy. Both of them, you experience the same thing. It's just the meaning that you give to it. So if you say, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling excited, I'm ready, I'm energized, let's freaking go. Yeah. That changes your state. It gives you the meaning of a different context. Yeah. Right? And the last one is the things that you think. It coincides with language, but if you think, same thing. You think poorly, you're gonna, that's how it is for you. Yeah. Right? So change these things, your physiology, your language, and your thoughts. Yeah. And of course, fake it to make it. And that's one of those things that can get you out of state and help you feel better and raise that energy, that vibration that you were saying. Yeah. And that's probably one of my takes for it. Like, that's something, your vibration, your energy, that's something that you can control. Like taking responsibility and not playing the victim card, though it's kind of hard. You control your vibe, Yeah. And it's of course it's a conscious effort because so much of our conditioning is already made and it's already done. Who we are is set, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Like, we're like that. Yeah. But you can, break out your belief systems and change your thoughts. Like I'm doing this right now. I'm not like, I'm constantly growing every day. I still have like bad thoughts, like not bad thoughts, like thoughts I don't like in my head, like negative thoughts, right? And I'm constantly trying, hey, not like that. Don't say it like that. I'm
Yeah.
constantly, I'm like, while we hanging out, I'm still having it in my head too.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like, yo, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're not nervous. You're feeling good, man. You're
Yeah,
feeling excited.
exactly.
You gotta talk back to it. And actually, I'm kind of like detouring a little bit, but like a tip I'm actually working on myself and I'm actually doing right now is for your emotions, not to control you, because emotions that's kind of like your vibe state too.
Yeah.
One of it, like when you're feeling the negative emotions, like I have been feeling those too, and one way that helps me kind of dissociate from that, of course feel it too, but like
I was just gonna say, yeah, like you can. It's not a bad thing to feel your negative emotions.
yeah, don't escape it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's life. Life is basically emotions. What life is to experience it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and if you escape it, why should you only feel the good?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You need to feel everything because
I agree.
it's everything, right?
Yeah.
And then what was I saying?
Oh man.
Oh, my tip.
Yes, your tip.
My tip. I just opened the file. So no. Okay. My tip is naming your emotions.
Ooh. That's
So
a good
like
one.
I got judgmental Judy up in the house. She's staying right here. Sometimes she's just judging, you know.
Yeah.
She's just like, yo, this I don't like it, or you know, this person I did. So I'm like, yo, judgmental Judy,
Yeah.
chill out. I see you, okay? But you know, I know who I am. I'm this. I'm a good person. You know, like you gotta talk back to it.
Mhm.
You know, don't feed into it, because that tip, when you name it.
Mhm.
Of course, like observe it, see that it's there. I feel like it helps you kind of like discern yourself from it, kind of cast aside that emotion, because I feel like you aren't your emotions.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I don't think so, but you can shape your emotions.
I feel like we're awareness
Yeah.
and choice before emotion.
Yes, I agree with
Right?
that.
Because like, or like people say, "Oh, I'm getting angry." You know you're getting angry before you're not angry, right?
Mhm.
Can't you see it, right?
Yeah.
Your awareness, you see it first.
Yeah.
So naming it helps you kind of distinguish that one is emotion and this is who you are, and it gives you more power rather than you're being judgmental and you're like, oh damn, I'm judging, and then
Mhm.
you're feeling more like negative and your vibe is kind of like going
Yeah.
down because you don't want to be judgmental, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it affects your vibe.
I feel like you feel the emotion first, but you can, like you said, you can be aware of it and act on it and change it. I think that's a huge thing. And going back to what you were saying earlier with having like a physiological language and what you think, right? I think those are so important as to how you can really gear and detour your mind, you know? I feel like it's something that not a lot of people talk about, and I feel like everyone feels
detour
like,
your mind.
yeah, I feel like everyone has to, I feel like everyone has this idea where like they have to, you know, live with whatever like they're given with, you know? Everything's already predetermined for them, but
Oh, it's not.
yeah, exactly. I feel like you can change things, and you can change your state. You can change you can rewire yourself, you know, rewire your state of mind to be someone that you want to become.
Yo,
Yeah.
before, like, me and Gary, we were talking about this before too, but like, when, of course, I feel like a year ago, if you guys met us today, we are
Yeah.
not the person
We're
that we
so
are right
different,
now.
guys.
I mean, 2 years ago, I was going down a wrong path. You know, I was doing drugs, I was partying, my thoughts were negative, I was socially around with the wrong person. And that was my conditioning. I was eating all these junk food that made me feel bad. I'm like, I don't want to eat this more, but I'm still eating it anyway. And it takes a lot of work to recondition yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll give you guys a metaphor or just a visual image. If you can imagine, like, I don't know, Big Bear or Canada or somewhere
Yeah.
with a big mountain. I told you this about it this way, right?
I don't think so.
Somewhere with a big mountain and it's snowing, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of snow and you're going skiing, right?
Yeah.
And first, you haven't sled yet. The snow is perfectly white. You're on the top of that mountain and you sled down, right?
Uh-huh.
You're making like a imprint,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of your conditioning. That's the start of it. And then let's say, wow, that was so fun. And then you go back on top and then you go like down again.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple times, you have to use your hand. I never went skiing.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean,
I wish. You have to use your ski and you have to control it, right?
Yeah.
So you go down and you make that kind of like the imprint, the line into the snow.
Yeah.
And then afterward, you do it like, oh my God, you do it a couple 50, 100 times, 200. I don't really think you need to use the handles anymore, because you just go straight down, because after you've done that so many times, there's such a deep ingrained imprint into the snow, right?
Yeah.
Because, of course, you've done it so many times.
Yeah.
And then, by then, you don't have to, it's so easy for you to just slide down the hill.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like our conditioning and our habits.
Yeah, I agree with that, man.
And then
yeah,
when you want to change, you have to battle against yourself. You're going down this stream that you ingrained so easily. When you go down, you're like, wee. But when you're going down, you have to like, oh crap, I gotta turn, I gotta move a little bit. You have to like really exert your willpower and just really make a conscious effort and awareness to change. And of course, it's gonna be hard, because imagine you're going down a hill that you've gone down like 200 times, and it's so ingrained, and the snow is up here, but you're like deep down here already, right? And you want to turn in the middle of like the path. It's gonna be hard, right?
Yeah, it is gonna be hard.
But eventually, if you keep going and keep doing it, you can change. Yeah. But it doesn't start with just the result and just trying to change. It starts with your belief systems, which we were touching on. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It starts with your belief and how you view your circumstance. I feel beliefs are kind of like clothes. Like clothes, like you wear it on. You're like, okay, I like this belief. I am, okay, like let's say this. I'm shy. You wear it on. You put the shirt of shyness on, and you're like, okay, it was attractive for a little bit. You wore it for a little time, but that shirt, it got a little too small for you. Yeah. You know, you don't want to wear it anymore. It's outdated. You're like, I don't want to wear the shirt anymore. You can take it off. Take it off. I want to be confident. I'm confident. You wear that shirt on. But of course, like, you gotta fit into that shirt of confidence. You gotta act the part of being a confident person. So, I mean, that's part of where fake it till you make it comes from, because change isn't going to come instantly, but change can occur. It can come. Yeah. So if you just believe and discern from your old belief systems. Belief systems, you know what they stand for? It's called BS.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Damn.
And you can change out of it. But that's where it all starts, with your beliefs. People want to tackle the results. Like, for an example for you guys, I grew up eating really unhealthy. I didn't really was into dieting. I'll give y'all one example of my lunches when I was a kid. I ate hot Cheetos and rice, white grain, with soy sauce for breakfast.
It's kind of bomb.
I know.
No more.
It was good at the time.
Yeah, it was.
But that's one of the things I ate. I mean, it's bomb. It makes your taste bud kind of dance, but it's not gonna make you feel good. You're gonna feel like crap afterward. Yeah. Right? So that's one of my belief systems. Like, I love eating junk food. I love eating this stuff. So it was really hard for me to break out of that belief system. But eventually, I learned that, you can change it. And now, I'll tell you that after. But I changed it. I said, you know what? I don't want to adopt and have that belief system where I'm going to take off that shirt. I know it's going to be uncomfortable with my new shirt for a while, but I'll break it in. My new belief system will be, I love healthy food. I love vegetables. I love feeling good. I love food that makes me feel good. That's what I go to. That's what I love to eat. And that's my new shirt. I start wearing it on. But, you got your favorite shirt. You want to go back to wearing it, The old shirt kind of itchy sometimes. Yeah. But then you wear it a little while, you break it in. But you got to act in alignment with that belief system that you are trying to adopt. So I had to be like, you know what? I mean, the hot Cheeto and rice, it sounds kind of good.
But you don't want to be that anymore.
So you got to adopt it. You got to act in alignment of your future self. Right?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
In the present moment, I learned, shout out to, you know who you are. But I learned that in the present moment, you can only act in two modes: your past self or your future self. And your past self is somebody who you learn to be. Mm-hmm. Your parents or your environment or your friends, the music you listen to, the food you eat, your social context taught you to be this person. But your future self is the person that you're drawn to become, is who you want to be, is the values that you have, that you want to adopt, is the person that you were meant to be, is your fullest expression of self, is the person that you're drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta keep on aligning to that person. You got to be who do I want to be, like, and align I want to eat healthy. Mm-hmm. So you align with that, and slowly you start to adopt that new belief system that I do eat healthy, and eventually it's gonna trickle to your thoughts. I believe that I eat healthy, so when I go to Target, I'm gonna get that spinach, I'm gonna get the avocado, and then it's gonna influence my feelings, my behaviors, my actions, and then that's my result. And that's where it starts, and it's something that you can't change, don't you think?
No, I agree with that. It's like, speaking in a broader sense of things, I feel like that's where you need to start, regardless of what you want to do in the future. I feel like you need that belief system. It's so, like, fundamental to just being like a human being and surviving through this game of life, I think it's paused. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But that's fine too. That's fine.
No, we're just gonna use this.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But going through that, like, fundamental state of life, I feel like having that belief system is key towards any, like, career path, any road you want to go down, right?
That's where it starts.
Yeah, exactly, right? I feel like for me it was getting like seeing who I wanted to become, or writing down and imagining who I wanted to become, dreaming of it, and being obsessed with that, like, idea, that vision of who I wanted to be. And just to give you guys some context, I guess, when I was in high school, I always dreamed of being, like, student body president, right? And it was my freshman year, and like, no one knew me at the time, I guess you could say. Like, I was just that freshman kid, right? And I told the student body advisor at the time, like, I want to be ASB president, and he looked at me, he's like, what the heck, like, get out of here. But fast forward, like, 3 years later, I became student body president, right? And then my next accomplishment of, like, dreaming big and achieving that, like, vision was wanting to go to Cornell, right? And that was, like, a real, like, stretch for me at the time. Like, I didn't even know I was going to make it, but I kept dreaming. I kept envisioning the fact that I was already there. I already made it, what things I, like, planned to do at the school, what I wanted to do in terms of change. And throughout that process, from a year before my acceptance, like, that was all I was thinking of, like, being at that state of where I was already there. I already made it at Cornell,
And also, it has to be, like, the focal point of your mind. You got to be focused on what you want, because if you say you want it, and then you're distracted, you're letting your consciousness be, filled with different kind of inputs, like we were saying, of, your friends want to do this with you, you want to do this, and you're kind of, like, distracted, then it's going to delineate you from your goal.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like something that really helped, like, me, I'm pretty sure it helped you too, we talk about it a lot, is meditation. And I feel like I find so much focus through it. And I don't know if it works for everyone, but for me, and I think for you too, it works, right? Yeah. For me, it's being in that visionary, like, meditative state. Like, when I'm meditating, what I use meditation for is to envision, right? I always focus on that one focal point of what I want to be, who I want to become. And I feel like doing that, maybe it doesn't have to be a lot, like 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day, just a small fraction of your day, right? And it's just doing that consistently, constantly. 30 days is building a habit, 90 days building a lifestyle. Like, if you continually do that, I feel like you're slowly rewiring your brain to become that person that you want to be, right?
I feel like that puts it at the center of your mind, so that it's, if you constantly think about it, that's all you think about. Yeah. So it's gonna take you there. Yeah. So it has to be at the, at the focus of your mind. Yeah. That's the only way it's gonna take you there.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. That's beautiful. And I think you touched a little bit about this, like, maybe a few minutes ago, but you talked about reading too. And I know like we're two big like reading like buddies out here,
Yeah.
but you know, how has reading really helped you throughout this course of your journey? You know, I know in high school, you weren't a reader back then, were you?
Yo, I used to hate to read.
I hated
like,
reading
you
too.
guys can relate.
Yeah, like reading was never like our thing back in high school, but why now? Why is reading so enjoyable now? Like what is that difference between you back then who hated reading versus you now?
I never thought I would like to read.
Yeah.
But it's so important to read.
Mhm.
Because I feel my values are different. One of my values is to grow,
Mhm.
to constantly grow. And when you're reading books, well, specifically geared like towards self-help, but it doesn't always have to
Yeah.
be that way. There's always something you can learn from, you know? It
Mhm.
doesn't have to be. But for sure, like good input helps. But reading is so powerful to me because it really gives me a perspective change
Mhm.
in like life or my circumstance or how I approach something and just my belief systems, and it just gives me that shock of, oh, there's another way of looking at things, because I feel like that's all life is, like it's just different ways of looking at
Different
things,
perspectives, right?
like
Yeah.
and if you can, you know, acquire that perspective or gain that perspective, you can better go into what you want to go into. I feel like one thing, like we were talking about, like victim mindset and like
Mhm.
responsibility mindset, it's taking the responsibility for your life. I mean, there are things that happen to everybody, but when you actually take responsibility for it, then you can actually move forward.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt like I was a victim for a while in my life. I was like blaming my parents and my
Yeah.
environment. I was like, dang, why didn't you guys be better in this?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, and I feel like it's an immature thinking of me in the past. But then reading, it gave me a perspective of, you know, like one book we were talking about, like Can't Hurt Me
Yeah.
by David Goggins,
Yeah.
of like you look at his circumstance and it gives you perspective of how other people have lived.
Yeah.
And you know, his life was a little bit heavier than mine.
It was
It
very
gave me
heavy.
perspective, like, wow, you know, like, who am I out here being a little bitch? Like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
come on, man. And then it gives you perspective.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're always, I feel like I was very in me,
Mhm.
and I couldn't think otherwise. But reading helped me see things from people's point of view. And another thing that's powerful is, like, people who write books, you know, they're not going to write it
Mhm.
after a year of their experience. You know, I feel like it's very well thought out for the most part. Like, it's pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
They put a lot of time and a lot of life experience and like research and everything into it. It's like this compound of what people or a person or whoever wrote the book acquired and learned, and they put it into this, like, I don't know, 30, 100, 120
Yeah.
something pages where you can just take it and you can learn. You know, I feel like the Japanese, they have two sayings for growth. It's Satori and
Mhm.
Kensho.
Okay.
So Kensho is you learn or you grow through your hardships. You know, you go through trial and error, and then you have to go through so much hardship to get to where you want to be. You know,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
But Kensho
Mhm.
is where you learn through and you grow through learning,
Mhm.
through different perspectives. And you can't live long enough. That's like a quote I heard somewhere. Like, you can't live long enough to make all the mistakes and all the experiences and gain all that perspective.
Mhm.
It's better if you just read, or
Yeah.
you gain it from somebody else and you're like, oh, you know, I should look out for that. And then next time when you get to it, you'll be like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do this. And through, like, you know, Kensho, well, no, not Kensho, Satori,
Yeah.
through learning and you can grow, it kind of like catapults you and it takes you there quicker.
Mhm.
Because I feel like, you know, I don't know when I'm going to die, or like,
Yeah.
you know, life is short. Like, I don't want to live through all the hardship myself
Mhm.
to actually get there, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
isn't that-
Yeah, I
you think
agree
as
with
well?
that. I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And like, I guess for listeners out there, you know, you should definitely go read a book, right? Like, I think giving perspective, it's like such a powerful thing, right? Like when you understand something from a different point of view, it gives you a different angle to attack your problems in life, right? It gives you a different understanding of who you are as a person and who you can become. And there's like, it's just like this hidden potential. I feel like when I read books, right? It's like, I am like at a state right now where I can still grow, and I'm trying to find out where or which angle I can grow from, and I feel like books help me in that aspect where I can find those angles through perspectives, and through that, like, I can really grow and understand perspectives through books, perspectives in life, and just be a better person in general, right? Mm-hmm. But I guess since we're running out of time, I have one last question for you. It's if you were to give advice to your previous self back then, maybe 2 years ago when you weren't at this state of mind, what would it be? What advice would you give to your younger self to, catch up to where you are today?
How long do I have with him?
It's okay. Just run with it.
I want to give him some like practical advice because I know my ass was lazy back then. He come back, future Joe, future me come by, tell me some advice. I'm like, I'm just trying to eat my Cheetos. No, but for sure, something that I can actually do for sure is I tell him to, well, it's going to be elaborate. I tell him to learn and constantly study. Mm-hmm. Not just in the context of schooling, mm-hmm. but more for your own self-growth mm-hmm. and for you to become a better person. So what I mean by learning and studying, I mean put in context of studying so that you can learn mm-hmm. and gain more awareness to grow. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to studying, I feel like it's so important to study yourself first off, because that's where it starts. You have to work on yourself first for you to get where you want to go. Mm-hmm. So studying yourself, studying your past, who has influenced you, mm-hmm. who were a part of your life that gave you your habits or your belief system, what are your polarizing experiences that made you think that this was the way things were, that gave you those belief systems, mm-hmm. and how are you saying things? Like, study yourself down to the micro, mm-hmm. and then see how that applies to where you are right now. Like, mm-hmm. okay, how much of am I like the past? Yeah. And bring that to the future of what kind of habits do I want to have? Who is this future person of me do I want it to look like? Mm-hmm. What kind of belief systems do they have? What values do they have? What are their tastes or their likes and dislikes, their hobbies, their values? And how do they walk? How do they, just everything. Study like a scientist, how you want that person to be, yourself, and just everything, just to help you grow. I feel like I heard this somewhere where, I think it was Bob Proctor, mm-hmm. but awareness is probably one of the biggest things. He gave me this example, is like, somebody who doesn't have friends and is alone, they don't want to have no friends and be alone. It's just they don't have the awareness and the knowledge of how to make friends. Yeah. Or somebody who is making $100 a month, they don't want to be making $100 a month. They want to be making $100,000 a mm-hmm. month, but they don't have the awareness of how to do so. And I think that's true. Yeah. For the most part. Yeah, that's true. I think so. And just studying anything that you are ignorant to, what you don't know, to give you more of that awareness so you can move towards that direction of growth, so you can live more of a, fulfilling life. Yeah. A life that you want to live, so that when you, die one day, because life is finite, I'll die. Yeah. You can die and you'll be like, wow, I lived a life, a meaningful life, and I'm happy with the way I lived, rather than a life of regret. Mm-hmm. And your life can be an example to others of how you lived, and they can aspire to live your life, or a life that resembles yours, or attributes of it. Mm-hmm. And just build. That's the advice that I would give. Yeah. Wow, that's a beautiful way to end off the podcast, man. Yeah. What's up? I'll ask you after. But actually, how about we ask him, like, what advice would you give?
What advice would I give? Oh man, advice that I would give to my younger self. It would be definitely. I remember this now. Yeah, it'd definitely be to not listen to anybody in terms of your passion, right? So let's say you found out you have a strong understanding of who you want to be as a person. I feel like you should never let go of that, because in life you're always swayed by perspectives and people and society. And social media. Those are key things that will constantly challenge your perspective. And I feel like once you can get past that hurdle of not caring about what other people think of your path and just shooting straight with it, I think you'll be able to achieve so many like amazing things. And just being able to not care and drop your ego, drop that insecurity of yours, the sky's the limit, and that's just a piece of advice I'd give to my younger self.
I feel like the bridge point of our advices to our younger self is like having a firm sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
So mine was study and learn so you can know who you are and what you want. Yours is having a firm sense of self so you know where you want to go.
Yeah.
Rather than people kind of pull you away from what you want. And I feel like it's so important, especially nowadays, to know who we are or work towards that, figuring out who we are, because I feel like who we are is constantly, in the molding process. We're constantly creating who we are, but just having a grasp, an idea, and of who we are, who we want to be. That's so powerful because it leads us to who we want to be.
Yeah,
and we won't be pulled away from who we want to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dang, that's a beautiful way to end that.
Y'all give me some love.
Well, thank you guys. That's going to wrap up this episode of the podcast. I'd like to thank you again, Jonathan, for joining us today here.
Thank you,
it's been an amazing podcast. And if anything within this podcast resonated with you in any way, please feel free to share this across all social media platforms and tag at detour.podcast. Again, thank you everyone for all your love and continual support. And I'm your host, Gary Fan, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.